the solar part of what we do here is you know, we just took a chance that it would turn out good, and it has.
The array here on the farm is, like I said, it's rated at 200 kW. It consists of 840 3x5 panels. That's the 3x5 sections you've seen in the arrays. You've got footage of that. Those, I think there's 5 different arrays. Those things are arranged. You have to have the sites evaluated. They have to have direct sun from the south, but they do get full. Our arrays are fixed. They're just stationary. They do make some that follow the sun that are a little more efficient, but it's kind of like when you get those, you get into the maintenance and upkeep issues like you would with a wind generator. So as much tobacco and stuff as we feel that we don't have time to go out and tinker with servo motors and stuff like that. So those are all fixed. They feed into that inverter that's inside that enclosure. That's the sure enough heart and brain of the system. That's where there's more money in that box than there is in all of those panels. That thing will take a small amount of current off of the line, which is I think that particular line is 14,400 volts. It measures that current, and then it takes 350 DC volts and converts it to the exact same thing, so it goes into that power grid seamlessly. They've averaged about 270 something kW for the first 2 years, and if sun don't go away, I think they'll continue to do that.
I'd say the biggest deal, just being at the right place at the right time, and took some chances early on, and now I got the solar part of what I do is just, it kind of started with you know, there's some boys from Georgia that come up here and deer hunt, you know, that I became friends with. They, for, you know, maybe a year or so, they were talking about solar this, solar that, how they live in the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia. And they were telling me about all these big projects taking place. And I think we had 3 sites approved. We built 2 of them, one here in Crofton, the other one is at Hopkinsville. And, but we did stop at two facilities, you know, and they're both 200 kW. But anyway, that's, but the reasoning why I done it is, you know, the whole nation was being held hostage by our inability to take care of ourselves, produce our own oil and all that came with it. So, you know, the green energy thing was really taking off at that point in time, and that's kind of, you know, my big deal is, and our big deal, I should speak for Charles and myself, but we're just trying to help our nation become energy independent, you know, not being so tied to someone else's wants and whims of doing business. So that's kind of where it started, and kind of how, you know, and of course, you know, we wanted investment. Don't ever let me mislead you that we just done it because we're a couple of good old boys and wanted to help secure the planet. You know, there was a business aspect to it that looked pretty good to us too. You know, that's kind of where it all came about. What it does for me personally, as I said earlier, you know, I just want to do anything that'll help. You know, if you look at the clock, you know, and I'm real big on using analogies all the time. I can't hardly talk without doing it. But you know, if you look at the clock of my life, you know, it's 11:45. You know, in all reality. And so, you know, I just want to make this a better place by me being here or whatever. You know, I want to do something that helps our nation or my children or my neighbor's children become energy independent from the rest of the world. You know, that was probably you know, that's the one thing that kind of swung the pendulum, if you would, in this direction. You know, just wanted to do something that made a difference. Try to.
And on the solar end of it, I think that's one thing that maybe we're a little bit ahead. Like you say, we might be ahead. When you hear threats of cyber terrorism and everything, it would be nice to have your home and your farm self-sufficient energy-wise. You know, even if for a short term, it would give you a peace of mind that not a lot of people have. But that's, and like I said, that's the advantage of being on on the farm and in agriculture, I mean, I think you do have I think you have a sense of self-reliance and self-sufficiency that not many people have.
My wife, you know, she came from the city, and you know, I tell everybody, or Candy never could understand how I could grow up knowing what I was going to be or wanted to be, or I, you know, I actually knew what I was going to do from the time I was 2 or something. You know, I just knew I was going to do it. You know, we got 2 daughters, Candy and myself, and you know, I'm currently in the son-in-law business, I guess, you know, here sometime in the future. But you know, I don't know whether the farm will continue to be a participating farm actively in production. You know, I do hope the girls can you know, I want them to hold the land. You know, land it's pretty precious to me. You know, it's a big deal for me. You know, the iron and the machinery, the mechanics it takes to run it, not so much. You know, that's just how we make a living. Been good to us, but you know, whether that part continues or not, you know, that really isn't that big a deal. But I would like to see the land retained from ever how long they want to retain it. The success that I've enjoyed, you know, it's not because I was smart. I was just at the right place at the right time, and extremely lucky, and had a lot of good people helping me. And since, you know, kind of since we got going, there's been, you know, I can think of maybe as many as a dozen smaller ones that folks have put in here in the county. So, you know, and that's my dream, that it would, you know, we might have been some of the first to develop here in the western part of the state. And, you know, and just to see other people get involved and the transformation that maybe hopefully will continue to take place as we move forward into the future, that a lot more people will be become involved and have solar energy, you know, for Kentucky and for the nation. You know, we're all in this kind of together.